Hi, I'm Dan.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Rollins? We're back here in my living room. It's quite a background. So yeah.
Anyways,
let's start.
Today we are talking about deepfakes and deepfake technologies and how that relates to Frankenstein. So we should probably start off with a little bit of backstory on deepfakes. What exactly is a deepfake? Well, a deepfake is essentially what is it? How do I put this?
An AI-generated image.
An AI-generated image of a person doing something or saying something, but they didn't actually do it or say it. So let's say, for example, you wanted a video of Taylor Swift dunking on LeBron James. Well, with deepfakes, you can do that. They began on Reddit around 2017, and even since then they were used for no good, as when they first started popping up, they were mostly used for pornographic images. So yeah, they've been no good since the start.
Just as you thought it could not get any worse, it did in fact get worse. It was used for rigging elections. In fact, the U.S. primary in New Hampshire, people were getting robocalls of Joe Biden's voice and saying how, telling them not to vote for him. And Slovakia had similar issues in the past also, such as in Argentina. So this is becoming a nationwide threat.
Exactly. And on top of that, you might think, oh, well, I could spot a deep fake, I got great eyes or whatever. Let me tell you something, you can't, because these things are getting easier and easier to make by the day, and they're getting harder and harder to spot by the day, let me tell you. You don't need to be a pro anymore to make a deepfake image. You need an app, that's all you need. For example, we were contemplating making a deepfake video. For all we know, this could be a deepfake video.
That'd be a twist, but sadly, it was too expensive. It was $20 to make this, and I don't know if $20, if I want to spend.
But anyways, point is yes. But anyways, that being said, for $20, you can deepfake an entire video with any person, with any voice you want. And on top of that, when it comes to detection, a test back in October of 2021, they showed a group of people 15 deepfake images, and while people thought that 80% of the time that they would be able to spot a deepfake image. That's not the case. The actual number is much closer to 50%. That's a coin flip when you think about it.
And the worst part about it is people had detection bias, and they were mixing them up too. So they thought the real ones were the deepfake. So they were kind of second guessing themselves, which is even worse.
Exactly, because now once this becomes more prevalent, you're gonna assume everything's a deepfake. Like we're already getting to a point where you can't even tell what is and what isn't real in the media anymore.
But let's get into the legality of it. So there's no U.S. laws so far not condoning the use of deepfakes. There's about 10 states that tried to pass a law, but so far it's perfectly legal, and that's the scary part.
And on top of that, there's very little ways to enforce any of these laws against deepfakes at this current time, just because of how prevalent they are, and also, how little we know about them and how easily they are able to be made. But anyways, how does all of this relate to this guy right here?
So first of all, they're both uncontrollable circumstances. Victor created the monster, and after he created the monster, he kept losing more and more control over it. This is kind of like the deepfakes in the way that it is. It just came out of nowhere, and the spread of it became so prevalent in the past 2 years. I remember seeing it on the news about these, and it was a deepfake of President Obama, and I'm like, there's no way this thing was gonna gain popularity and traction. But I'm here 2-3 years later, and this thing's more advanced than ever. Deepfakes are more advanced than ever.
So you see them almost everywhere you look, Instagram, the news. I guarantee you, if you open up your phone right now and just start scrolling on the media, one of the first 10 videos you find will be a deepfake in this day and age. And on top of that, as Dom previously already mentioned, another way they relate to each other, they weren't accounted for at all. Deepfakes were simply kind of released to the public quietly, as we previously mentioned, back in 2017. And there wasn't much done about them. Similarly, Victor released his creation, his monster, quietly. He didn't go around telling people about it because everyone would think he was crazy. And that adds a whole other layer of complexity to it. think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed our presentation. This is brought to you by the living room of my house. Took some trouble getting the tripod, but we got it. So.
You got it, so.
5:20.